Welcome back to the Paul's Podcast. We got a very special episode for you guys today. But before we do that, we have a new segment. It is the Pop-Tart tasting segment. And see, what we're going to do is we are going to try different flavors of Pop-Tarts. And then October the 31st, which is our 6th episode, we will be telling you, out of the Pop-Tarts we try, which ones are the best. And CJ, will you give us a backstory of why we chose Pop-Tarts?
So, two of the hosts here on the Pause Podcast table do not specifically appreciate Pop-Tarts, like Pop-Tarts. That's perfectly fine. But for me personally, I have eaten Pop-Tarts for the last 8 years religiously.
You would be dead without them.
Probably. I'm probably going to be dead if I quit them. It's like a drug at this point. If I don't have it in my blood, I'm probably going to be gone.
I don't think that's good.
I eat them for breakfast. I usually wake up. I'll eat a chocolate Pop-Tart. I only eat chocolate fudge. Lunch, I take them to school. You can ask my cooperating teachers. I eat them for lunch. And then I'll come home, have a nice evening, watch a movie, play some video games, family time. And right before I go to bed, I get another chocolate fudge Pop-Tart and eat it before I go to sleep.
What about just like a good old strawberry?
I had strawberry one time at High Point with Brother Cody Shue, but after that point, I have never had the desire to go back. So,
awful.
What about, do you heat them up and then eat them?
I do not. I do not heat them.
If I'm going to eat a Pop-Tart, it has to be toasted.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally toasted.
But you can also eat them frozen.
With a glass.
Oh, my.
of
Guys, look, it gives you ways to eat them. Straight, starlight from the foil. Straight right. I was homeschooled. I'm so sorry.
Has anyone ever ate their Pop-Tart with the foil on? Question mark.
Stacked. You can stack them. You can freeze them or you can toast them.
Homeschoolers.
I'm going to have to try the froze, dude. That actually doesn't sound... The lemon meringue pie the lemon cream pie should be froze.
Well, let's try these. So what we're going to do is we're going to try... Like
What's the nutrition facts?
The lemon cream pie. We're also going to try the s'mores Pop-Tarts. So... guys, which one we want to do first? S'mores
380
or lemon?
calories.
Let's get s'mores out of the way. Let's get s'mores out of the way.
380 calories for one Pop-Tart.
So we're doing the
I'm gonna write
s'mores
these
first.
down.
Folk season.
Okay, so
What are we eating first?
The
It's
s'mores.
just one bite, okay?
One bite.
It's just one bite. Ready? Here we go.
It smells like dog food.
That wasn't bad. This is good.
Okay.
So my dog,
Okay, I will
my
admit.
dog has a bone that I have tasted before, and it tastes just like that.
But I will admit, it's kind of got that, when you burn a marshmallow over the fire, it
Yeah.
kind of got that burnt taste to
That
it.
perfect. It's not exact
Okay.
s'more, but I mean, if you had
It's actually pretty good.
For any of y'all out there that cannot stand to hear people chew, I'm so sorry. I
Yeah,
just
we are
realized
sorry.
I'm gonna have to get a drink. I can't talk.
So what we're gonna do is, Justice, what would you give that out of 10 for the s'mores?
You know what? I
I'm
give
gonna
it a 6.
Okay. Big time. What you got, Dylan?
I give it a 3.
Whoa.
already dropping.
All right,
Honestly,
CJ.
it tastes like a dog treat. How do I know what that tastes like? I was homeschooled yet again.
I'm gonna go 6.5.
6.5.
Really?
I like it. 6.5.
kinda
The only
that
reason I
chocolate.
went 6 is just because it did have that burnt.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm
You're
going
full of
7, and here's why. I like the marshmallow filling.
Stop
I think
it.
that's
Absolutely.
good. That's good stuff. I'm going to go
Stop.
7. Dylan is not happy with these scores, and we're going to move on. Time
Okay,
for
I'm excited about this
the
one.
lemon cream pie.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Did we hear?
That's terrible. You're crazy. That is awful.
That is awful.
That is the worst pop
I like it pretty good. I love lemon.
Hold on. I got an aftertaste, and it actually tasted better than the Pop-Tart. All right. I'll tell you what. That tastes like...
Oh my god!
Stop. Dude, stop.
I give it an 8.
I have to go with justice.
Whoa.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Whoa!
I
I
like
give it
it.
an 8
A 4
just
for me.
because I really like lemon.
Whoa!
Justice gives it an 8. Dylan gives it an 8. I'm giving it a 4. What you got, CJ?
A
I need to get up
4?
to the mic. That was awful.
No, it's not.
I didn't like that at all. I'm gonna go. Oh my goodness! I'll go 3. I wanted to go 2,
trying to
but
grab my straw.
I don't want to skew the data too much. I'll go 3.
Well, I am glad that segment's over because those Pop-Tarts are actually pretty terrible. But back to the main topic of this episode. We're going to be dealing with childhood stories. Now, I've known a lot of these guys for a while. Some of them not as long. But Justice, I've known the longest. And I have a really good story about Justice. So, Justice, weren't you the kid, and this is one of the farthest back memories I have of him, weren't you the kid who decided to stick his leg underneath a merry-go-round?
Sure was.
Yeah. So,
Is that you?
It sure was.
Were you the one? Were you the one they tell that story about at camp every single year about the merry-go-round getting delayed caught?
Yeah, the funny thing about that is at camp is you always hear people talking like, if there's like kids like playing around, like hanging their feet off the merry-go-round, they're like, "Oh, you remember that boy? You remember that kid that broke his leg?" But nobody knows who it is.
Is that what their face looks like whenever they say it?
Shout out to Brother Carter.
Well, here's the funny thing. The funny thing is, with that whole story, now there's a specific rule that teenagers can't push the merry-go-round for junior campers to get on.
Yeah.
Because the merry-go-round was going too fast. Justice was like, I think I can do it. I think I can get on. Next thing you know,
It drug me under.
it drags him under. His ankle, did it break your, what did it break?
It broke my ankle.
It broke his ankle. Wow. What a trooper, dude.
Yeah. But, you know.
Do you remember it pretty clear? Like,
Yeah,
months
I
ago?
remember. I don't remember much, like, when it happened, like, on the merry-go-round. The only thing I remember is I remember Brother Steve Aldridge coming to the rescue.
How about that?
Thank you, Steve.
Shout out, Brother Steve.
I remember he came on. He brought the foiler. And he put
To
me
the
on
ER?
No.
Oh.
Up to the merry-go-round. And
You've heard of
put
Hell's
me on
Angels.
it.
Have you heard of the
And
Baptist
then took
Angels?
me down to the kitchen or whatever. And he's like trying to get me like take some medicine and stuff. So yeah. And then
Wow.
the next thing I remember, I was at the hospital and
Please
some
don't tell my
Asian
dad.
or I don't know, Indian doctor like just starts grabbing my foot and moving it around.
What happened
the
to
Lord.
your foot?
Praise the Lord.
Yes, it is broken. Please just.
Does this hurt?
But the worst thing about it was, like right before I was about to get my cast taken off, my foot started hurting really bad on the top, and it was like itching and hurting, and I didn't know what it was. And so we ended up at home just cutting it off ourselves and had a big old hole.
That doesn't sound safe at all.
I'll tell you what we're going to do.
I
We're going to cut it
did.
off
I
ourselves.
cut it
This
off.
when you got
You-
staff?
No, this is when something crawled in my cast and ate a big old hole in the top of my foot.
Brother, that is
Oh,
a
my.
brown recluse. That is a brown
That is
recluse.
Yeah.
disgusting is what it is.
And when I took my cast off, I still got the scar on the top of my foot, but I had a big old hole. In the
Oh,
top
my
of
goodness.
Whip it out. Whip the foot out. Let me see this scar.
Let's please no.
I don't like feet, so let's not do it.
All right.
Wow.
So we're gonna move on. And Dylan, you seem like the kind of guy that has many childhood stories. So would you lay one on us? Would you tell us about young Dylan?
The great life of a McCann.
Yes.
We know the McCanns are rough in East Backwoods, so we know
So-
you got a story or two.
All right. Y'all know, Seth ain't met my parents.
Not yet.
My parents don't take much junk, and they don't. But my parents are fun. Like, my parents are not my best friends. They're my parents, but they're also fun parents. So growing up was never really any dull moment, especially if you know my mama. And my daddy, for the most part, is pretty serious. But then occasionally, like, he's not always serious. But he can goof off a lot. Now, when Daddy starts cutting up, you're gonna be on the floor laughing because he's a big cut up. But he don't do it that much because he tries to abstain from all appearances of evil. And
His
I don't
laughter's of the devil.
Yeah, no. But so growing up, man, his motto to me was, Dylan, quit doing stupid stuff. And now when he dies,
Pretty good.
when he dies, I'm gonna have to have it put on his grave. And
Are you going to say Tim or Dad
Yeah.
stop doing stupid
yeah, because
stuff?
if he dies before me, then he done something stupid. And so it's gonna be Daddy, quit doing stupid stuff. And so now I love Dad. But anywho, growing up, it didn't matter what I done. The Bible says, "Be sure your sins will find you out." I'm living proof that God is being serious when He says that. I don't think of anything that I've got away with that my parents don't know about. If there is, I don't know.
Well, have
Not
they heard?
telling
I'm not going to talk about
I'm
it.
not talking
Have they
about
heard this story? I'm just kidding.
And so
I think
we
Mary-
were. Have you ever been ding dong ditching?
Sure have.
I never have. I've never
I
done
have.
that.
Can't
So-
say I've maybe done it once.
All right, I was homeschooled, and up for some point, I'm not against homeschool. I know I've said that like 3 times. I liked homeschool, and because I was at home. But anywho,
You still like being at home.
I was out ding dong ditching with some friends. So we went over to see some friends, and while we were there, the brothers come out and they said, "Have you ever been ding dong ditching?" And I said, "No, what's that?" And so we go out, and he says, "So basically, what you're gonna do, you're gonna run up to the door, bang on it, ring the doorbell, and just take off running as fast as you can." All right, now
love
this isn't a cul-de-sac, like house on house on house on house. And I'm like, all right, what do we run? Like we knock, what do we do? And he said, we're just gonna take off running to the woods.
Have you said how old you are in this story?
No, I think I'm like 8 or 9.
Wow. Okay. Starting them young.
Yeah,
8 or 9?
yeah. Did you never do? What'd you do at 8 and 9? Stick your foot in merry-go-round? I was out playing ding dong ditch. You're over there kicking a merry-go-round. I love you, Justice. Back to my story. Since you interrupted,
I'm sorry. I apologize.
we hit so it was my first time ever doing it. We hit like 3 houses in a row, and it was going good. People were coming to the door like looking around, and we were gone. And we'd be out in the corner of the woods going like laughing. And there's the biggest house in the neighborhood, and he's like, "Let's get it." And so I got sent to it, and I banged on the front door and took off running and made it out clear into the woods. I was good. And so apparently they weren't satisfied with it. And where this is at, the house is up here, and there's a backyard is a big hill into the wood line, and they got a big old deck up on the back of the porch. He said, and so the stairs go up, turn, and go up. And he said, "All right, dude, what you got to do? You got to go up there, bang on the back glass sliding door, and then jump down and take off running back to the woods." And obviously, my dad's motto, "Quit doing stupid stuff," hasn't stuck with me yet. So, and the backyard is probably at least, I would say, 50 yards before you hit the wood line. Mm-hmm. And I take off running up there, and I'm like Rambo, dude. I'm rolling, jumping. I get to that back door. I'm creeping up the stairs. I get up there. I go, and then I just jump straight off the stairs. And this is a pretty high deck. I hit the ground and rolled. And I was going, and they're in the wood line going, "Come on, come on, come on." And about that time, this lady busts through that door and starts screaming and cussing. And I'm like, and like I said, I'm homeschooled. And so anytime my parents get mad, they yell at me. And, well, not all the time.
Okay, was this in the middle of the day or
middle
night?
of the day? Middle of the day.
So it's still sunlight outside.
Yeah, sunlight.
Oh,
and,
okay.
So my two friends are in the woods, and they're like, "Come on, dude! Come on, dude!" And I stop in mid run. I'm in the middle of the yard. I stop. I'm like, "Oh no!" And in my mind, I'm like, "She's gonna tell my daddy, and if I take off running, and she tells my daddy, I run from her, I'm gonna get a bad whooping." And so I'm like, "All right, I can face this. I'm a man." So I turn around. I turn around up there, and I go up there, and she's sitting there cussing me, and the whole time I'm going. And then about that time, I look behind me, and I can't give their names because they might listen. I can. Ethan and Austin is their names. It's not more. So actually, it was more. It was, but it wasn't. The more you know. Uh-huh. And Ethan, I ain't seen you in forever, man. I hope to see you someday. And so
hopefully not doing ding dong ditch.
Yeah, not ding dong ditch. I turn around. Austin is hightailing it through the woods. He's gone. I'm like, "Thanks a lot, Austin." And Ethan at least comes out of the woods with me. And so we get up there, and kids don't do this. We get up there. She's cussing out. Her husband comes outside and tries to calm her down. And so finally gets her calmed down. And she makes us come inside. So we go inside their basement. And yeah, don't do that, boys.
That's
don't
sketchy.
Do that. That's sketchy. And they sit us down, and she's mad, telling us off and all this stuff. He said, "What's your name?" And at the time, I was like, he has no clue who I am. I said, "David McCain." And I was just the quickest thing. I was like, "I'm lying. I'm not gonna. Nobody's figuring this out." David McCain. He said, "Any kin to John McCain?" I said, "Who's that?" And he said he's running for president. I was like, no, I don't know.
I don't follow politics.
And then, my buddy Ethan, he was like Chad Hunter. I looked at Ethan and said, "I don't even believe that." And so they basically told us to quit doing that. And, well, we thought we got out scot-free. And scot-free, however they say that. And we get to going down back to Ethan's house. And when we get down there, everybody's standing outside. Yeah, they knew Ethan. And they called their parents. And so my dad walked out. He said, "You been ding-dong ditching?" I was like, "Yeah." Son, he wore my hind end out.
Wow, it's pretty good.
Me and Seth have had some adventures at the greens.
Yeah.
At like 2 and 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Please expound.
Well, we really didn't have any
Well, for example,
commotion
yeah.
y'all did, get cussed out or anything, but we have had people come outside and start shining flashlights and wondering what we were doing. And then
Michael.
Hey, boys, let's get inside the house.
Yeah, we've gotten some stories.
It's time for bed.
No, I love Brother Michael Green, but he is intimidating. Height included. Like when he just towers over, he looks down on you like a little Chihuahua puppy. Yes, sir, preacher. Anything you need. You gonna pray? So yes, sir. Right now, we're praying.
I think my dad's favorite childhood story of me is when we had chicken coop. We had chickens for a while, and he wanted me to go check eggs. And I really tried to get out of it because we had this mean rooster. And,
Yes, Father.
Yeah, I really tried to get out of it because
Papa.
this rooster was scary. But okay, so I open up the what's it called?
The crate.
Yeah, that's it. I open up the crate and I go to reach down and grab eggs.
I don't know if that's what it's called. That's just what I said.
There's like a big old, like 5-foot black snake in there. I mean, been gourding himself on eggs. I mean, it's huge. And there was a lawnmower going. There's a guy cutting our grass. And my mom says, she was washing dishes. She says she heard me screaming over the lawnmower outside. She says I scream like a girl. But I remember me being like, that's scary. Oh, real funny. But here's the funny part of the story. Dad might not like it. So first thing Dad does is Dad goes and gets his shotgun. He goes and gets a 410. He's going to shoot the thing, right? He's standing 2 feet from this snake.
It's a snake, not a squirrel, Dad.
He's standing 2 feet from the snake with a 410 and misses. Okay, so at this point,
maybe it was like a single shot. You know,
it was
like a one bullet.
It was a slug.
It was not a slug.
Yeah, slug. Thank you.
Who put a slug in here?
But he completely misses.
Who puts a slug in a 10-4?
And then 410, not a 10-4.
It puts a slug in a 10-4.
I knew I was
Hold
going
on,
to say
pause.
something stupid.
And
14.
then,
This is sponsored by Duncan's Gun Shop.
well, then what happens is he goes and gets a garden hoe at the back at the shed.
Yeah.
And he starts swinging that thing, and he eventually kills the snake. So it took a golf club.
Wait, hold on. He abandoned the shotgun?
He abandoned the shotgun because he missed from 2 feet away. He said, his
Come on,
pride's,
Steve.
his pride's already hurt. He's done. Okay, so he misses with the shotgun. Then he goes and gets a golf club, and then we finally got him with the garden hoe. We finally killed the thing. But yeah,
Maybe you should have started with the garden hose.
Seth, give me the hoe!
Did you drag it out of the crate to kill it, or was it still in the crate when you were beating it with the edge of the hoe?
They didn't tell you about that? The crate's gone. He beat the snot out of it, shot it, beat it. That thing was destroyed.
Crate's obliterated.
It got out of the
Let's
crate.
just say
that's
we
where he
didn't get
found
no
busted
eggs
your
that
head?
day.
Well, no, that was okay. So later, I did fall and bust my. So this was a little bit later. I think this was later on in my childhood. But he told me we're outside. We're cleaning up the yard. We had one of the big old huge beach chairs, right? And he wanted me to get it and bring it inside. So I grab it, and I'm holding it long ways. And I'm trying to go up our steps.
Right.
And our steps had nails sticking out the bottom.
Oh.
And so I'm walking straight, and I hit the two sides, and I flip over the chair, and my head like hit straight on the nail. I mean, gashes it open. It was awful. It felt terrible. And I'm holding my head, crying like a little baby, and my dad, he's dying laughing. He thinks it's the funniest thing.
Get up, champ.
So then,
Good one, son.
but I moved my hands, and when I moved my hands, man, I had blood everywhere. I mean, it was awful. Like, I gashed him big time. I was bleeding crazy. So he goes from like, oh. And then, like, he gets serious.
Don't
and
tell
then
your mom.
Well, that's exactly what happened. Mom's trying to come outside. He won't let Mom come outside because he don't want her to see it because Mom will probably freak out, go crazy, all that kind of stuff.
What if
But
your
no.
mom started laughing?
That would
That would
be
have not
awful.
happened.
But so then he gets me inside, and he's got, he's holding a wet rag over it, trying to make sure, she don't see it. And the whole time they're having this, I've got my head gashed open, I'm bleeding, and my mom and dad are arguing about letting her see it, because if she sees it, she'll get mad at him. And I'm sitting here saying, Dad, you laughed at me. So from there on out,
I'm gonna get you back, Dad.
Yeah, from there on out, we always talk about the time I almost killed myself, and my dad was laughing. But CJ.
So
What about you?
I don't remember much of my childhood in general, just to be frankly honest. But I do have a story. Is it funny? I guess that's up to y'all to decide. But it was 8th grade. We were in PE class, and I'm a PE teacher, so things really do come full circle in life, I guess. And I had just moved in with my dad, and I was a video game nerd, pale, still am, but it was worse then, I promise.
Ain't that much change.
But I mean, it was rough. I mean, I wasn't athletic, I didn't do sports, nothing like that. So we're in PE, and I'm a go getter.
No.
Yes, sir, go getter. I mean, you throw it, I'm gone. You roll out the balls, basketball, volleyball. I was involved. That sounds like I was sweating in PE, but I was. But nonetheless, we went outside one day for football. It was like football season, so we had transitioned to go outside. It was a cool day, things like that. And there was a friend group that I was with, and we were just throwing football back and forth, and you could walk the track, and I think there was Frisbee, just some things out there to do. It was like a Friday, so almost like a free day. But we were out there playing football, and we were running routes and things and playing like a real deal game or trying to best we could. So I do a slant route, and I'm cutting end zone. So this is like just PE class once again. I cut end zone, and I dive for the football. I'm telling you,
when in doubt, lay out.
Absolutely. I was like, I am receiving this thing. If it's over my dead body, I have some pride I'm trying to build here. So I dive, and as I dove, there was a kid, no disrespect to him, but he probably broke the weight scale in some occasions, with all due respect. So I dive, and my feet catch the side of his body as he's laying on the ground. Now, all that being said, I have no clue why he's on the ground. I have zero idea why this man is laying on the ground. I didn't break his ankles. He was playing coverage. I have no idea what's going on. I guess he set a trap for me. But make a long story short, I cut the slant. I cut across. My feet catch him. I turn my shoulder, and I break, snap my collarbone. And it hurts all day. I'm like, I go to the PE teacher. I'm like, Coach, my shoulder is killing me. He's like, you're fine. Walk it off. So I walked it off.
Walk it off, kid. Walk it off.
Our next class is art class. So I go to art class, and there was a kid sitting across from me. I think his name was Weston. I'm not exactly sure. And I'm like, dude, my shoulder's killing me. He's like, oh, it's just dislocated. Let me see it. And he grabs my forearm and yanks it as hard as he can. And I'm in agonizing pain. I'm like, thank you for that, but I'm feeling worse. So I tell the art teacher, and she's like, well, we'll come up to the office and see. And I had some kids in class like saying, hey, what's going on? What's wrong? You feel okay? And I was crying already, so I didn't want to look at nobody and have them see I was crying. It gets worse.
I'm okay.
I get sent to the office, and they're like, go ahead and call your dad. And at this point, I am scared of my father. I had just moved in with him. I didn't talk much to him as like a young child. I tried to avoid him, just to be simply honest with you. So here I am on the phone with my dad that I am completely intimidated of. And he answers the phone, and he says, hello?
Yes, son.
He says, hello? Who is this? I was, Dad, it's CJ. I don't feel too good. Can you come pick me up, please? And it is awful.
I need you, Dad.
He's like, what are you saying? Say it, son. And I just keep, come pick me up, please. Anyways, he finally gets there, and I'm still uncomfortable around my father. I hadn't got used to him yet at the point. But yeah, he picks me up, takes me to the hospital, and found out I had broken my collarbone in PE class. So, wow. I mean, if we're going to go for it, we might as well just go for it. You know what I'm saying?
So I could break my shoulder.
But it was a fun experience. 6 weeks in the arm sling, and then every shower I would forget and like yank my arm across, and then I would wish I was dead. So,
how do you wash your back?
With right arm. Luckily, I broke my left one, so I could still like write or
Pick your nose.
whatever else I do with my right hand. I don't know, but I didn't have to use my left one. I'm not left hand dominant, so right. I don't know. Now that I'm pick up things, I have no clue. But
I got one more.
Go ahead.
Since we got some time, you talked about your dad getting you hurt. I hope my dad listens to this. I told you he was mean to me growing up. Oh, he will. He made me come out there. I've broke almost every one of my fingers.
At the same time, or just
throughout my life.
I was about to say that would be awful. But
when I get old, my fingers are gonna look like that. I'm gonna have something really bad wrong with me. Hey, Sonny, how you doing? The Lord loves you. I want you to know that. And
thanks, stranger.
Anywho, he was trying to take the gate off this trailer, and he obviously just thought I should help him. There's a pin inside the hinge that you have to knock out, and he gave me something about that size right there. And it's a metal bar. He said, all right, hold that right there. And I'm holding it just like this. And there's a cylinder, the pin's in. He's got a sledgehammer. And he's sitting here tapping it because we're trying to knock the pin out. And it was so close to being out. And he said, all right, now hold it. I'm going to hit it. And I was like, all right. He said, now hold it. I said, I got it. I said, just don't hit my hand. And he said, I ain't going to hit your hand. He went, boom. And when he done that, he completely missed the pin. And he took this finger and smashed it against it.
Your middle finger?
Yeah, and popped it that way.
Oh, gosh.
And so I come up, I was like, ah!
How old were you?
I was probably 14 or 15. I was in high school. I come up and I was like, oh my gosh.
Screaming like a little girl.
He said, hold on, let me see it. And I give it to him, and obviously I'm holding that one finger up. He said, no, which finger is it? I said, it's that one. And
so I put that finger down.
He's looking at it. He said, huh. it might be broke. I said, no, dip.
Thanks, Dad.
And he said, all right, let's go. Oh, come on, get in the car. We'll go to the hospital. So we got all the way to the hospital. And this is how dumb he is. I love my dad. We get down there. I'm sitting there and my finger's crooked. I mean, it's still crooked. It still sits. It wasn't broke. He just completely bent the bone. And the bone shoots
Just
sideways.
completely bent the bone, but it was not broke.
It's not broke, but it was
Insane.
bending sideways. And so we get in there, and there's a police officer in there. And we're up there checking in. Daddy looks at the police officer. She says, I just broke his finger. I hit it with a sledgehammer. And the police officer looks at Dad like,
Assault.
and then like, Dad makes it, he made it sound like he abused me. And that police officer's like, what? And he's like, yeah. He wouldn't quit talking, so I smacked his finger with a sledgehammer. And I was like, he did, officer. And so we get in there, and I mean, the finger's sideways. I'm like, this is broke. It's got to be. And there's a big old knot on it. And the nurse comes in. It's not broke. I said, okay. Why is it sideways? And she said, I don't know. The x-rays are fine. And so Dad's in there, and they splint it back. And she said, what happened? And I looked at Dad. He said, I hit it with a sledgehammer. And she went, how? And I was like, ma'am, I said, we got to quit doing stupid stuff. And so that's another.
Which is your quote, which is what your dad said
That's
to you.
his dad's. That's my dad's quote, and that's what I'm saying. He didn't live up to it that day.
That's what. Well,
And what I should have done when he said, hey, hold this. I'm like, no, Dad, this is a test because you told me to quit doing stupid stuff, and this is stupid. And I'm not going to do it. And I can't tell you, that's not this. He's done it before. He's hit my hand several times. And have you ever tried to hold a flashlight for your dad?
oh, yeah,
Oh,
you
my
never
God.
do it.
Hold
good
it over here. I'm like, Dad, that's where the flashlight is.
I'm trying, Dad.
Hand me the wrist.
Yelling at me.
This shouldn't be this hard.
I'm going inside.
The worst is when you were little and it's like 30 degrees outside and you're shivering and you can't hold it still because you're shivering. I say hold it still.
You hold the flashlight.
I'm trying.
Give me the wrench and you hold the flashlight. My hands are smaller than yours.
Well, and then there's always
love you,
that-
Dad.
There's always that time as a kid where you get left in the store and you're like, "Mommy, where you at?" And you're like crying and you've started like audibly screaming and crying trying to find your mom, and everybody in the store is just looking at you like,
And you start having a dramatic meltdown.
"Dude, yes." But like the people in the store,
You gotta help me.
they're the worst because they do not help.
Has anyone else in this podcast been left alone in the store by their parents or just said? Okay.
It wasn't my parents. It was my grandpa.
I haven't.
He's dead now. And that joker just took off and walked away.
For real.
I was
papa's left me
one
plenty
minute.
of
One minute he's there. I turn around and I went, Papa?
The rapture
And
just happened?
yeah, no, I was like, whoa, wait, what? And so I go walking down the aisle, and I mean, he's a short fella. And I'm like, where is he? I was like, Papa! Papa Lil! Papa Lil! And finally his worker comes up, honey, what's wrong? I said, I can't find my grandpa. And then there he was in the checkout aisle. Hey, get over here. I'm like, I said,
just
what
like,
you
what are you
leave me
doing?
for?
Thanks, Grandpa.
Well,
That was the
I
last
hid
time my
from
parents
mine.
left me with him.
well,
One time I hid from my mother, and that wasn't
In the
good.
store?
Yeah,
That sounds like a bad idea, yeah.
it was bad. It was
gonna find me.
it was at a little store, and I hid, and she was the one freaking out.
Wow.
And then as soon as she found out that I hid, when I got home, I got my butt slap out.
well, I think.
Mama, let's think about this. Is this really the worst thing I've ever done?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, I mean,
Did
parents.
I really do anything wrong?
Parents, they get a hard time. You know, nobody can parent a kid perfect. I'll say that. And, you know, train up a child the way he
Yeah.
should go. And, you know,
I'm
when
gonna
he's
train
old,
my
he
child
shouldn't
right.
depart. And so, in my mind, you know, shout out to the parents out there.
Yes, sir.
You know, I know it's hard. It's difficult, especially when you had to raise us. We were all over the place. But, hey, I'm sure everybody out there has a childhood story.
enough. So you're telling me I got a little bit more to go.
But
Your mom ever said that?
I'm sure everyone out there has been through and had those moments. And if you want to share it with us, I think that's a good idea.
We'd love to hear.
We'd love to hear your stories.
Please
we
share
would
your
actually
stories.
we'll read them on the podcast. I
Yeah.
think we said we would agree. We would read your
Yeah,
stories
we'd
on the
love for-
podcast.
If
You know,
it's
obviously
good.
if it's good. If it's
it's
terrible,
good.
If it's
gonna be
good.
like,
If it's
We want the
terrible.
good stuff. Give us
only
the good
good
stuff.
stuff.
If it's terrible, sorry. You
My
just
mom
didn't make
grounded
it.
me from candy one time. Oh, really?
Oh, really? Blocked.
hard at me. But thank
no,
you
yeah.
guys for tuning in to this week's episode. We've had a blast talking about it. We've probably cut up a little too much, but we do want to say this as
This guy.
but we do
tone it back a little bit.
But we
Shut up, Seth.
we do want to say shout out to all the parents out there that are trying. We know you're trying.
You the real MVPs.
None of us are parents yet, but we know we'll probably struggle as much as ours did. Shout out to our parents. We love you guys. Hey, but tune in next week to the Pause Podcast. We're so glad you guys tuned in. We hope we made your day a little better. Peace.